Yes, sir. I forgot my phone, man. Oh, I forgot the phone, bro. But that's fine. Um, yes, sir. We are in the building. Rasta Aussie, big up yourself one time. I see you there, bro. I can see that. Rasta Aussie. Yes, I. So Rasta Aussie, you're the first one in the building. I see. There's a number of individuals, 14 more people. Guys, I had to, man. The kind of journey I did today is absolutely incredible. So I'm gonna wait for some folks to come in. Who else is in the building? I see Rasta Aussie is there for sure. And Rasta Aussie, I'm guessing that like is yours. Somebody also give another like. I appreciate that. I kind of forgot my phone. So, oh boy. What's up, my people? What's good? Brandon Collier. Hopefully I pronounced it properly. Collier. I know a girl who stays in Roseau. Her last name is Collier as well. Maybe you guys are related. Oh, I did. Is she related to you, Brandon? I think she's a teacher at the college. Well, it's a small world there, so yes, guys, I'm just waiting for more folks to come in. I know I stated that I would have been here by 7:30 on BrBpTV, and then on Mr. Lex Reacts I said I was gonna be there around 8 o'clock. It's a good thing it's 8 o'clock, 8:15. Because I had to make a journey, man. I had to make a journey of a lifetime. Even coming back down here, I was racing 3 vehicles, man. I don't know, something Dominicans like to race, guys. When you see I'm related to most scholars in Dominica, yeah, she probably related to you, bro, for sure. Yeah, but I was racing. Dominicans like to race, bro. You pass one Dominican and they're like, what? They're gonna just pass you again and try to, well, they tried to pass me, but you know, I wasn't about that life. Good night, everyone. Big up Mr. Leaks. Jerry Nelson, big up yourself one time. Thanks for being, always a part of the live reactions, man. Sooner enough, I will start putting the live reactions on so that people will pretty much be able to see the live reactions as well. I can do it, but it's a little bit complicated to just put up. I've done it before, but we shall see. Rasta Aussie says, while we waiting, can you do a side-by-side video of Starboy Lies next to him saying he didn't say, I think is it Keeping it real 767 tends to do a lot of these videos. So yeah, I think there's a lot of these videos right there on him saying one thing and then completely saying something contrary to what he said. And it seems like he has some sort of schizophrenia, like where he forgets that he says this thing. So it's an interesting time, even considering when I look at Biden. Some of you guys might be saying, why are you always talking about United States? Well, if the United States sneeze, it affects Dominica, it affects the Caribbean. So we have to keep that in mind as well. So who is the elected official in the United States, can create either prosperity for the Caribbean or total chaos. So every time I see Biden and you have to pray for the guy, man. Pray for that guy because he's not there. Scare itself. Oh Lord, have mercy on us. But yes, guys, I appreciate you guys. 42 of you guys are in the building. 44 right now. 6 likes. That's kind of crazy. Can you bring the likes up, brothers and sisters? Bring the likes up right there. I'm gonna start in like 1 minute, but click the thumbs up button. Of course, helping the algorithms to push this video further and further. I had to post this on my status on WhatsApp, but I forgot my phone. Man, that's crazy. Oh, let me post it on my homepage. I can do that. Yep, I can definitely do this right there. So on my community, I can definitely do so. We are live right now. Come on in. Go back. Insert post. And I'm gonna take it from there and post it on Mr. Lix Reacts as well. Where there's a will, there's definitely a way, okay? Let's discuss. Okay. Switch back. All right, guys. Let me see. 50 folks. Okay. Let us get this rolling. Now, guys, when I got this video, well, this video was sent to me. I myself, I heard about the press conference. Okay, I think that's where they had to restart because the audio was not there.
And
okay, I don't want to hear this lady. Okay, so yes, guys, so we back. We in the building once again. Okay, let me see who is inside there. Brandon Collier, Jerry Nelson, Rasta Ozzy. Like he's Rasta Ozzy say, like he stand for peace and unity after saying what? True hot water. Yeah, this is gonna be an interesting reaction as well, guys, because they ask him certain questions and you're wondering where is he going with this, because we always tend to wonder, no, who's no one, you are someone else. So big up yourself for the wave. Yes, you do a great, keep a great thumbs up. Oh, Brandon, thanks much, Brandon. Pot Week 767, a song like some herbal remedies. Big up one time, big up yourself, Pot Weeks. Lincoln James, you listening? Where you guys watching from? We're not seeing you. You guys not seeing me? You sure you're not seeing me? I see you sure you're not seeing me? Good, locked in. Big up everybody. Nikron, big up yourself. Ernst Philip, big up yourself. Perad, big up yourself as well. Teresa Dura, big up yourself. Yes, guys. Are you guys seeing me? Somebody said they're not seeing me. I see the comments going crazy. Listening from New York. Big up New York Massive. Okay. So you guys are seeing me. Okay, great. New York and I have a love-hate relationship. I go to New York for like Caribbean events and for gigs. And after I'm done with the gigs and the Caribbean events, I'm out. Yeah. Okay, so you guys see me. Okay, guys, let us get into the vibrations right there, man. Tonight is lounge. What is lounge? Yes, the lounge. I must say lodge. We don't need lodge business. Tonight is lounge, guys. Karaoke vibes. So we're gonna get ready for that as well. Opposite Ross. So if you guys want to make a spin there, you know, I have to belt some vocals as well. You check. So let us get these vibrations going. Jules Johnson say, you don't know we're rolling. Of course, we're rolling like a... Anyways, I was going to think of this song. Rolling like a rock going down a mountain. But yes, man, we there. Seeing you. Okay, guys. Well, let's continue and get to the vibrations. First of all, let me see if the likes are up. Guys, click the likes. New individuals who coming in. Click the likes. The likes is a good thing. You know, it helps. It's free and it helps the algorithm right there. So definitely click the likes right there. Okay, guys. Okay, we're ready. Let's start already. Let's start, brothers and sisters. Press conference of none other than PM SKERRIT.
I suspect the new equipment is causing some problems for the guys, yeah.
One thing, guys, SKERRIT always like to give his little jokes, man. Are you guys hearing the audio of this as well?
Say good afternoon to all of you, and thank you for coming. I look forward to taking your questions this afternoon on the issues you deem relevant to the people of Dominica. I thought we should meet today, not only to allow you the opportunity to pose your questions, but also...
By the way, guys, I had to do a reaction on I think it was Ronald Charles, not Ronald Charles, but Thompson Fountain and a number of others. They actually had a press conference, a Zoom meeting, I would have to say, talking about the issue of the economy as well. So what do you guys want me to do? You guys want me to do a live reaction, or do you want me to do a normal reaction like I tend to do? Because if I'm doing a normal reaction, I'm just going to drop that tomorrow. But I think maybe we can probably go in depth with this one right there. So do you guys want a live reaction, or do you want a normal reaction? Let me do that in the comment box. Not the comment box, but in the live chat right there.
So to highlight the many positive things going on in our country. Most recent is the report from the International Monetary Fund, which is predicting growth for Dominica at an average of 4.5% during 2024-2025. The IMF has a positive growth outlook for our economy based on the return of stay-over tourism figures to the pre-pandemic levels, several expansion initiatives in agriculture, and our significant progress with priority infrastructure projects. The IMF forecasts that inflation is projected to decline to as much as 2% in 2024-2025.
Now, guys, keep in mind when the actual economist, Dr. Thompson Fountain, was giving his reviews of the IMF, he stated that for the country to be doing well, it needs to be growing at 6%, not 2%, not 4.5%, because apparently the next growth factor is 4.5, and then according to what SKERRIT is saying, he stated that it's going to be going down to 2. But according to Dr. Thompson Fountain, who is an actual economist, he says it needs to be going at 6%, which means Dominica is falling back or falling behind once again.
Supported by our imminent transition to geothermal production, the ongoing international airport project, hotel projects, which will expand.
Yes, guys, share the lives. Earns, big up yourself. Break it down live, man. Keep me okay. Okay, guys, I'll do that.
And our tourism capacity. I also want to highlight a most hopeful section of the IMF report, which said that inflation fell from its 2022 peak of 9.7% to 2.3% at the end of 2023. I'm aware that many of you continue to raise...
Keep in mind, the inflation value is as a result of imported inflation. In the United States, they stated that this was what the inflation reached, around 9%. But when you do your calculations on normal projects, or not projects, but on products, what you tend to find is that the inflation value is much higher. For example, if a product was costing $1 before, and now it's costing $1.50. The inflation is not 9%, it is 50%. So we have to take all this into consideration, because sometimes they just do random things and put the inflation because they don't want people to know the real value of inflation.
The concerns about the price of goods and the impact of imported inflation due to various world events on our price structure. I think we can take comfort from these numbers as we look ahead to 2025. Numbers dropping from 9.7% to 2.3% at the end of 2023. The IMF
and
pointed out,
keep in mind, guys, I am happy that he said that 2.3% is inflation. Now, guys, what in Dominica, when you get your interest is at 2%, right? So if the inflation is 2.3% and your interest is 2%, that means you are getting a loss, even though you see your bank account growing by 2%. The value of money is different from the look of the money or the digital print of the money. So we just have to look at $100. Every $100, if VAT is 15%, every $100 is actually worth $85. So just keep that in mind right there.
out to our challenges with regards to elevated public debt, a tight fiscal space, but said public debt is set to decline in coming years based on the government's conscientious efforts to consolidate and boost public finances. The IMF commended the government of Dominica for the measures taken in the past year to decrease spending, citing a decline in the public wage bill. Like the IMF, we have long acknowledged the risk to our CBI program stemming from an uncertain global environment, as well as the potential negative impacts of climate change. I previously underscored the impact of geopolitical tensions, leading to adverse global financial conditions, which is affecting trade and commodity prices. Dominica, as you know, is vulnerable to natural disasters, which have in the past led to huge capital losses.
So the same thing goes for other places. The problem with Dominica is Dominica tends to focus on its natural disasters, while other places, they look at the natural disasters and see how they can capitalize on it. One of the things that I have to commend SKERRIT on, even though he lied about it, and he stated that Dominica doesn't owe Venezuela anything, thank God for the hurricane, we got debt forgiveness of $100 million. Isn't that a fact? So it has its pros and its cons, but capitalizing on these things can also help.
And widespread devastation of the economy.
Because keep in mind, it can also bring a lot more money in when it comes down to Dominica, and we can rebuild better. But the question is, did we or have we rebuilt better?
Thus hindering our growth. These challenges do exist, and we're taking them head on every single day. But make no mistake about it, this is a good report from the International Monetary Fund. Dominica, despite the many shocks to our economy since 2015, is making strides towards a real, sustainable growth and recovery. The IMF is proposing more ambitious measures to protect ourselves against disaster risk and broaden the revenue base, including the implementation of investment projects with high economic returns, such as the International Airport, geothermal, the hotels, the extension of Douglas Childs Airport, and the cable car.
None of which SKERRIT says that he can actually justify that there's going to be massive returns or any return at all. We can only hope for the best. Remember, when you have a business, there's liability to that business. Will our revenues surpass the expenses of that business? Because I remember the very prime minister that we're looking at right there indicated to us some years ago that the airport is expensive to maintain. So I think when he's making this thing, making his conclusions, you have to take it with a bag of massive salt, brothers and sisters. Not a grain of salt, a big bag of salt.
And we can talk a bit more about this because there's a lot we can be proud of and hopeful about in terms of the investments that this government is making. In respect to the international airport, work is progressing rapidly with a significant number of Dominicans currently engaged on the project.
How many of them are employed? I think that is vital to us,
This is the project that will transform the island's economic landscape, providing direct employment for skilled and capable citizens, as well as indirect opportunities for farmers, fishermen, taxi operators, vendors, hoteliers, and other services.
although what he's saying there is true, what about agriculture? Why didn't we target agriculture to actually utilize the workforce in Dominica? The workforce, agriculture will pretty much bring surplus to Dominica. More money is coming in, will circulate within the economy, thus creating a better economic output. True or false?
It is our view in the government, and of course the views of Dominicans, and the views of international arbiters, that the international airport is a project that will certainly bring a windfall to our country. More people come in, more consumption. More consumption means more tax revenue and more benefits to the people of our country. And
so you're making the basis on tax revenue coming in. You see, that is a problem that I have. And of course, people who understand Dominica know that that is a huge problem, because Dominica should not be based on tax revenue. We have soil, we have sun, we have water. Well, our water's drying up because apparently they don't seem to do nothing about it right there. And we import in water, man, I tell you. So we're pretty much giving other Caribbean islands the ability to make money on us, but we're not looking to make money on them. We are importing sorrel from Jamaica, and we can make sorrel. We importing a number of things. I remember the individual who had some tomatoes, massive farms of tomatoes, and all of them were dying, and they apparently were importing tomato. I mean, if you guys remember when I did that video right there, breadfruit wasting. Yes, St. Vincent is making breadfruit flour. I've heard that Dominica can make or is making breadfruit flour, but it's not to export. St. Vincent, when they make things, they do it to export it.
regards to the Douglas Chels Airport, we will soon commission the expansion to ensure that we can continue to attract visitors to our country in large numbers.
How are you doing that? You just building an airport and think that's how you're going to attract people? You think building hotels is going to attract people? We had daily flights with American Airlines to come every day to Dominica. We had hotels, but apparently now American Airlines realized that this is not viable for them, to the point where I heard that the government was subsidizing the airline to keep coming, and obviously I guess they couldn't pay, money's wasted, and you know they had to pull out in that regard. Now Dominica no longer has daily flights with American Airlines. So what exactly are you going to be bringing people in? How? When you look at the tourists out there, most of the people that tend to come in are what? Elderly folks, because maybe they don't have nothing else to do with their life, might as well come and enjoy some nature. You check? So I think we need to understand what is going to happen and how we are going to be bringing people in, or not just bringing people in, but causing them to stay as well.
Large numbers and ease travel into our country.
SKERRIT planting flower. Well, there you go.
We have invested heavily in the exploration of geothermal energy, which will dramatically reduce electricity costs and contribute to growth of the business sector. Next month, we will go to the Parliament to seek approval for a $103 million loan from the World Bank to construct.
Oh boy, $103 million loan. Our debt to GDP ratio is 102%. And we already owe China. We already owe a set of people. So it's really true when Thompson Fountain was talking about It's really true when Thompson was talking about, you know, Dominica not having the ability to borrow anymore from the banks. They're going after credit union and so forth. And now he's talking about getting a $103 million loan in a country that does not create surplus for itself. So then that means they're going to be taxing the people again. You know, it's the Dominican people that have to pay back the taxes, right? It's not scary them. The Dominican people have to pay back the taxes for the decisions that they have made. So, interesting stuff, ain't it?
The transmission system.
Heavenly loan, you are right. Loan after loan after loan. And more to come as long as SKERRIT in power. Well, and more taxes on the people. They took, let me bring it back. They spoke about electricity bill. Remember they stated that they're going to be looking at the electrical bill, brothers and sisters. They talk about they're going to be reviewing the electrical bill, and then he's talking about geothermal. We are yet to see geothermal in action, but he's saying it's going to reduce the bill. How can we quantify this? There's usually a trial and error time frame, testing, they call that. How can we quantify this to say, okay, yes, the bills are going to be going down from other countries?
Month we will go to the Parliament to seek approval for a $103 million loan from the World Bank to construct the transmission system from Loda to Fokole. With CBI funds, we are constructing homes across Dominica for our most vulnerable.
That's not necessarily accurate. Because remember the World Bank, and I did a reaction on that on the very BrBpTV itself. The World Bank, and not just the World Bank, I think other organizations came to us to try to bring houses in. So why is he just mentioning CBI and not the World Bank? Maybe he'll mention it later on, brothers and sisters.
By the end of this year, we will hand over 250 homes to deserving citizens.
The World Bank wanted to give 500 homes. They had their own list and everything like that. I'll go through that, brothers and sisters. Maybe I'll do that tomorrow. I'll talk about the housing thing tomorrow. I have all the articles and stuff there. So,
just yesterday, Monday, 42 individuals and families received keys to their resilient homes under the Housing Recovery Project. We're investing over $160 million in the East Coast Road from Boadab to Pegua. This will ease access and add value to economic activity in this part of our country. Soon, we will spend over $170 million on the Lube to Bacatel Road, literally opening up new pathways to economic development in the south of Dominica.
No, it's nice that the Prime Minister talking about spending to actually develop Dominica, whether the roads or whatever it is. That's understandable. But he's still mentioning something that I think people are not listening to. He's talking about the spending power. Now, that's how inflation goes up, brothers and sisters. Inflation rises as a result of government spending. That's it. Nothing else to do but government spending right there. Now, you have government spending. Yes, you take loans. How will we pay back these loans? What exactly can we pinpoint to say, hey guys, okay, this is what is creating funds for us? Are we looking to tourism? Does tourism generate much funds? Are we looking to agriculture? Well, we know construction is outside it going. How are we going to generate monies so that the burden does not fall on the people?
We have recognized the urgent need to build food security and are investing heavily in fisheries, aquaculture, farm infrastructure, livestock farming, all to empower our farmers to produce more and increase their incomes from the farms.
So you want to increase farming and what have you, but you need the markets. I remember some time back, the Prime Minister was saying that he's going to be looking for the markets for agriculture. I've heard nothing about that since. So did he find the markets? Guys, do you know if he found the markets or not? Nicron says, lies, lies, lies. It will take years for us to benefit from geothermal. Geothermal has been on 10 years going, So we are just hoping to see, brothers and sisters. Hoping. Question, who's the finance minister? Well, the finance minister is the former Minister of Health, Irvin McIntyre. That's the finance minister. SKERRIT is the investment minister. So
very soon, we will also equip farmers. We'll also equip farmers with hydroponic systems to help increase the production of vegetables in our country.
Will this stuff be organic or will it be artificial? Are we looking at organic production or are we looking at just to increase productions? Because increased productions means less nutrients in the food that we produce. So where do we stand?
6 schools will be under construction throughout the course of this year, and several hotels are near completion to enhance the accommodation sector and take tourism to new heights.
Thank God the schools are being built. I mean, that's something that a lot of people have been looking forward to. Jules is saying, Mr. SKERRIT is the every minister. I think so too, because the other ministers don't do nothing. Look, they were talking about in Calibishi about education, and he was apparently the Minister of Engineering and the Minister of Education at the same time. And the thing is, you had Dronilia, aka Shake Your Pampalam, aka Miss Pampalam, at the back of SKERRIT, and she never said a word. The Education Minister, not a word. So I think you are definitely right in that regard right there. He is Minister of everything.
I know there has been concern about outstanding tuition fees for our students attending U.S. universities. In the past,
And not just them, but also the stipends that the Cubans need to survive, the Dominican students in Cuba need to survive.
months, we have honored our commitment to our students and continue to service our outstanding commitments and debts to those universities. At one particular university, we have taken our bill from US $3.2 million to just over $450,000. So we are continuing to take care of our students.
So why didn't you say that you cleared it all? Huh? Yes, I understand there are struggles in Dominica as a result of what you guys have done, but why are you, I guess you want the people to say, hey, we are clearing things out right there. Well, it could be that they say no more Dominican students coming in, and also you had a promissory note that you given to the schools that you have to pay. So if you don't pay, then they're going to take Dominica to court for their money. So I guess that's one way to look at it.
And ensure they can earn the degree. The hope is that they return to Dominica to assist in our development.
Nobody who goes overseas wants to come back to Dominica. Nobody. From all the students that I know who left to go overseas to study, they are trying their utmost best for them not to come back. Some of them even overstay. Yes, brothers and sisters, some of the students overstayed to hopefully maybe get married or something so they don't have to come back to Dominica.
With all of these initiatives that we need, what we need is the support of the Dominican people.
Well, let me just say some of the students. It is my understanding. It is my understanding that some of them have overstayed.
I make a special appeal to our citizens to join this process of development to build a sustainable future for our people.
Nobody is seeing a sustainable future in Dominica. Nobody. If you say that there's a sustainable future in Dominica, at present, brothers and sisters, you are lying. And the devil is your father. Stop your dirty ways.
We must move away from the persistent attitude of doom and gloom.
Well, that's what we see here, SKERRIT. That's what we see.
We cannot make meaningful progress if we insist on highlighting only the challenges and ignoring all the good things happening around us.
What are the good things that are happening around us? Brothers and sisters, can you tell me what are the good things that are happening around us? Now, keep in mind, when you're mentioning good things, for example, you're saying we are building houses. The reason why we are building houses is because the people cannot build houses themselves, or most people cannot build houses themselves because the economy is not doing well. So if you're saying, oh yes, we are building houses for people, great, that's nice. But the economy is the result of why most people cannot build their houses. So the housing is not one. So can we help me understand? Because if the backbone of Dominica is agriculture and we're not utilizing agriculture, help me understand how there's some sort of progress and positive, I'm thinking, well, based on what SKERRIT is saying, some positivity.
Ask yourself, how can I contribute to the development of this country? How can I help my community move forward? How can I improve my personal circumstances and that of my family?
Many people have asked themselves that question, and I know some of them as well. I know I was one of them when it comes down to doing things in Dominica, and most times doing a lot of things for free, because Dominicans, some of them don't want to pay, and some of them, those who can pay, is not like it's, you know, extravagant. So people get pulled away because of the money supply. Especially looking at business, you have to look at the money supply. I know one of the things SKERRIT them like to encourage the state. They keep saying about entrepreneurship. But if there's not much money flowing, spending power flowing in the economy, doesn't matter how well you make entrepreneurship look, very few people will benefit from it. And the interesting thing is they are looking at the people who are actually benefiting, the very few people who are benefiting, and they put them out there and say, if they can do it, you can do it too. But if the money supply is low, brothers and sisters, spending power of the people is low, no entrepreneurship galore or business will elevate in that regard. This is why the best business you can find is to work overseas. This is why there's mass migration taking place right now.
The choice lies with each of you. Let us be more productive. Let us display a greater love for our country by pooling our talents, our resources.
But SKERRIT, why don't you do that? Why don't you demonstrate the love of actually utilizing what Dominica has, utilizing the skill sets, But no, none of that is happening. Build factories now. Let us look at agriculture. Agriculture is the backbone of Dominica. We move from agriculture and then we go to VAT. Then we move from VAT to go to CBI. Now that CBI is plummeting. We're going to go back to what? What do you think we're going to... Guys, let me know. What do you think we're going to be going back to when CBI plummets totally? Leave that in the live chats before. Let me see if you guys know.
To build our patrimony. I also want to give you a quick preview of plans to observe the 20th anniversary of the establishment of diplomatic ties between Dominica and China. I will lead a delegation to the People's Republic of China this week on the invitation of the Chinese government. I think it's important to mark this.
Wait, who is paying for this? Is the Chinese government paying for this, or are the Dominican people paying for this? You say you're going to lead a delegation to go to China. Who is paying for this? Because Dominica doesn't have much money according to you guys. So you're going to be spending more money just to go to China to do what?
Occasion, because there can be no argument that our partnership with China has resulted in significant benefits for Dominica.
Well, what I see, China comes and they build infrastructure, which is nice. But then again, I would see it on the opposite side, because Chinese come to take the jobs that Dominicans themselves can do. So Dominicans can actually... You don't think Dominicans can build the Calibishi school? You don't think Dominicans can drop the plans and all these things there for the school? Don't you think so? I think so, but they seem to be utilizing Chinese and then giving Chinese the glory for building. And then again, sometimes Chinese don't build the best set of things right there. Mr. Lix, you ever heard of the digital? Yeah, I know the digital economy. That's one of the things SKERRIT wanted to push way back in the day. He wanted to push Bitcoins and so forth and so forth, but apparently that seems to have died, or not necessarily died, maybe it went dark. Some people are maybe doing it, and some people are not, or most people are not. Yes, VAT will increase, brothers and sisters. VAT, taxes, fees, just name it. These things are going to increase right there. Dominica is sold already. No, I don't think Dominica is sold at all. Because then again, you would need a bidder for Dominica, and you know, things are not looking on the up and up for Dominica at present. So I'm guessing these individuals that may appear to have bought Dominica are just taking Dominica for a ride, which is what I think the very Prime Minister is doing right there.
Across the length and breadth of Dominica, we see the tangible investments in health, agriculture, education, and infrastructural development. In the aftermath of two disasters, China gave valuable support to rehabilitate infrastructure and rebuild livelihoods, and provided life-saving vaccines and health equipment to assist in the management of COVID-19. So China has been good to Dominica, and I look forward to the opportunity to convey our gratitude to the leadership of China in the next few days. I will, during my official visit to China, hold meetings with the President of China, the Premier of China, among other high-ranking officials of the government of the People's Republic of China.
You guys know I fill out the Rona already, so I'm not even going to comment on that.
And of course, we shall provide more information to the media and of course the country over the next few days about our activities to celebrate this momentous occasion. I will pause now at this moment to allow the media to ask questions of myself. Thank you very much. Thank you.
All right. I'm merely here as a facilitator, and I see Carlisle is ready to, as he liked to say, bat. So Carlisle, please go ahead. All right, that's fine.
Okay, the mic stopped working, it seems. Well, is there a caption? No caption.
Next one is
Okay.
an issue dealing with LIAT. We know LIAT has officially gone into liquidation, and which has also affected Dominica. We know that a number of Dominicans were employed with LIAT. Antigua is trying to do some situation. Is Dominica going to be part of that? And when will the Dominicans and the other persons who needs to be paid, when will they be paid? as it relates to the liquidation process. And the third one is we seem to have an issue with the issuance of passports. At one time, everything seemed to have been flowing very well. All of a sudden, there seems to be a lull in the issuance of passports. Can you give us some update on that, please? Thank you.
With regards to the question on the European Union and the recent pronouncements by the EU with regards to its visa-free regime for countries who have visa-free access to the Schengen.
Filson, before I continue the video, Filson George stated, Mr. Felix, after the Chinese government has done so many projects, what's in it for them? You think the Chinese are doing things for free? Chinese never do things for free, man. They might come and they might build your roads for free and they take over your agriculture. They might take over something. They never do anything for free, or they might give you loans for which you then have to pay back. They might not be telling the citizens, hey, we take this loan and that loan, this loan, that loan. If you look at who Dominica owes the most, it is the Chinese government. That's who the debt, Dominica's debt, majority of it is owed to the Chinese. So just keep that in mind.
States and more particularly with regards to countries with citizenship investment programs. Now, as you know, there are countries within the Caribbean with the OECS who have these programs: Dominica, Antigua, St. Kitts and Nevis, St. Lucia,
Grenada.
Grenada have these programs. Obviously, the concerns have been raised by these countries, the EU bloc, with regards to this program, starting first with countries within the EU with such programs, and the need for all of us to take certain actions to set aside the concerns which the EU in particular would have had in respect to those programs and the potential risk that they have stated that these programs could cause to their
them.
Countries.
And that is because of the CBI. If there was no CBI, then that would not have been an issue to them. So you guys are running the CBI, and it's a known fact that Dominica has given all sorts of criminals passports. So we have to keep that in mind as well.
We've been in touch with the EU. As you know, earlier this year in January, the EU delegation came here. The head of the visa policy unit of the European Union was in Dominica allowing for delegation to engage us in discussions. And as you are aware, Dominica has taken some very comprehensive measures to allay and to set aside the concerns of the European Union and other partners who we are engaging on this matter.
First of all, EU doesn't care, because this is why they are blocking CBI right now. EU making it seem as if Dominica meet the obligations. EU stated the criteria, that of which one of the criteria is that all monies raised from CBI should come back to the home country. Now, when the European Union, who also knows that 75% of revenue apparently, or 75% of passports was not reported to the Dominican people, they have to conclude that 75% of the revenue was not sent, or at least 50%. Sometimes you never know. The 75% might have bought it at a cheaper price, so it's not always set in stone, but monies have been placed outside as a result of 75% missing from the consolidated fund. Now, since that was not met, SKERRIT himself came in and say that there's no money outside there. There's no money outside there, but European Union stated that 75% was not reported to the people, which means only 25% of revenues was reported, or passport sales were told to the Dominican people. So how did you meet the criteria if they are saying this and you are saying something contrary to what they're saying? So you telling us that you meet the criteria doesn't seem to be add up. Mathematics doesn't add up there, sir.
Further to that, the countries within the OECS who have these programs, we have met jointly, and we've agreed to take some joint actions, some of which will be not limited to, but include having the same legislation to deliver our programs.
And guys, keep in mind, just like America, China can also print their money out of thin air. So they can print their money out of thin air, just printing. We cannot print money. We have to accept monies from overseas. So when China gives us money, they printing the money out of thin air, and then we have to return interest to them on the money that they printed out of thin air. The United States can print money out of thin air. This is why they're saying how much hundreds of, well, I think about $200 billion they sent to Ukraine. They printed money out of thin air. But that causes inflation.
To ensure that the application forms are uniform, to ensure that all our due diligence processes are the same.
SKERRIT still doesn't seem to want to admit that the due diligence process is very, very bad. Maybe now they change it, but we know that criminals have obtained Dominican passports.
To ensure that there is more sharing of information among ourselves with regards to the program, and also looking at setting a minimum price structure for our program, so that nobody will be able to go below a particular fixed rate. So all of those things that we have negotiated among ourselves.
Yeah, that's one of the things that the European Union wanted. They said the selling out passports is too cheap. It needs to be higher so that not everybody that has $100,000 can just get it. It needs to be at a certain level. That's another thing that they wanted to put. Well, not wanted. That's another thing that they required from the CBI countries.
I will sign this memorandum of. I have actually signed this memorandum of agreement. I signed this morning, having concluded the discussions with the other partners, and we are with others to sign on this.
Will this be made public to the people, so we can read it ourselves?
I believe that this agreement will place all of us in a much stronger position in terms of our response to the concerns which the EU would have raised. Other concerns which the EU would have had, for example, the changing of names. In Dominica's case, we have dramatically dealt with this, and so
that means you guys were changing names of the people whose names were not theirs. Why were they changing names though? Because let's bring it back.
Would have had, for example, the changing of names. In Dominica's case, we have dramatically dealt with this.
Why were you changing people's names? Sounds like some offshore kind of vibes, eh?
And so it's an evolving process. We are not indifferent to the concerns raised by the European Union, but we are satisfied and confident that we have taken the necessary actions in response to the concerns raised by the European Union.
Well, that's nice for you to tell the Dominican people that, but based off what we heard in Washington, they are moving forward to put visa restrictions on Dominica and a number of Caribbean islands. Obviously, they want to pinpoint Dominica out. I mean, come on. Dominica has been the one who has sold the most passports combined with all the other countries. About 50% or roughly around 50% of passport sales between the 5 countries is Dominica owned. So that says a lot.
And we'll continue to engage them in that discussion. We've provided them all of the legislation that we've put in the new legislation that we depart.
Well, Filson, he is actually fooling some people as well. But the thing is, ignorance is bliss. Just like when you talk to a number of persons and you ask them certain questions and they already formulate and concluded without even having the proper facts or any facts at all. I would understand if you have some information out there and you conclude on that information that you have out there. But some of these people have no information at all, and then they conclude on what they think in their head is. That's how some of the labor rights operate. I'm telling you.
Parliament in December to bring forth, and so it's an evolving process, and we'll continue to engage them on this. We are still awaiting from them, following their visit to Dominica, whatever specific recommendations they have for us.
But they gave it already. I think they gave 8 of them. What do you mean we don't have these specifics? Really?
Respect to additional actions which we have to take. So we're within that proposal from them. So we always maintain that the program is important to us from an economic and financial standpoint.
That's true.
But we will never take action that would compromise the integrity of our program or compromise the security of any of our partners. And so,
but you did that. You guys did that. Why did you guys harbor criminals in Dominica? Some of the individuals had diplomatic passports. They're in jail now. Some of them in jail. I think one of them died. One or two of them were taken out. And they are Dominican diplomatic passports and passports. So how you mean you will never compromise? Really? Are we not stupid now? Mr. SKERRIT. The evidence is out there.
We're very strident in respect to this. So the decision that they've taken really is in response to concerns raised by their own citizens and their own governments, and to put systems in place to
protect themselves,
to ensure that their concerns can be alleviated or set aside in full. So we're mindful of this, and we'll continue to act decisively in respect to our response to this.
Demonstrator, big up yourself one time. His face and body language says it all. He's afraid about something. Yes, but it seems like he's hiding something as well. That's what I'm getting from his body language.
Okay. And of course, the European Union, like every other country, appreciates.
You notice anytime he's calm, he doesn't squint. But every time he gets, he's thinking something, he always, let me bring it back for you to understand what I'm saying. Look at this.
Okay. And of course, the European Union, like every other country.
You see what I'm talking about? I've noticed this throughout the video.
Appreciates how important this program is to us in the OECS as an important source of development assistance, as an important source of non-tax revenue.
He's speaking
an
the truth
important
there.
source of foreign direct investments. And in Dominica's case, it cannot be more apparent in terms of the positive impact that the CBI has had and continues to have on the way of life of every single citizen in Dominica.
That's what you believe. That's what he actually believes, guys.
With regards to the year 2020, as I've said before, we are prepared to play our part.
You see, he doesn't squint. He doesn't squint in that one. Just, guys, yeah.
As a government, as a country, in any effort towards improving air travel within the Caribbean. And if we go back to contemporary times, Carlisle, you will recall that we invested in LIAT 1974 Limited. And as a matter of fact, when we invested then, we were heavily criticized for investing in LIAT 1974 Limited, because people felt that we were investing in a failed company, in a company that was losing money, and we were just throwing good money at old.
Well, that turned out to actually be true, because LIAT fell in serious debt, where now LIAT is even owing the employees, and the journalist ask you about paying the Dominican employees. Hopefully we'll get to that.
And I indicated to the country then, to those critics, that if LIAT doesn't fly for one day in the Caribbean, we're in trouble. And if it doesn't fly at all, we're in real deep trouble. Unfortunately, this has come to pass, and I would have preferred that my words were not profound. But this came to pass, and we have seen the dramatic impact on air travel in the Caribbean.
Well, from a business point of view, that makes sense. There's not much competition around. So if the competition that has no competition disappears, then logically, chaos will ensue.
On our economies, on the tourism industry, because for all the countries in the Caribbean, all with no exception, regional tourism is either number one or number two.
But not for Dominica, though. For the Caribbean, regional tourism, you're right. Where people like Bahamas are going to 4.2 million people. Antigua is about to break 1 million. St. Kitts and Nevis on their own vibes already. Just think of it. But where's Dominica, though? I want to see the statistics for Dominica, because when I look at the tourism industry, I look at from 10 years ago all the way back, and it has been going like this. In 2017, when there was Hurricane Maria, we had more tourists than 2018 than in 2017, if I get the dates. But in one of the dates, we actually had more tourists in 2017 than in a previous year where we didn't have. But then again, if it's afterwards, most people wouldn't want to come. So, yeah.
In terms of contribution of tourism to these countries. And while we appreciate the investments with Inter-Caribbean, and we applaud them on Caribbean Airlines and Win Air, but there's still a gap because of the absence of LIAT.
That's true.
And therefore we have to work towards filling that gap if we're to get back to our pre-LIAT.
How are we going to do that? Dominica doesn't have much money. Are we going to reinvest in LIAT 2020? But you still haven't answered this question yet.
Servicing of the region, because air travel in
That's not
islands
what they
like
ask you, sir.
is really one of public good. This is like pipe to pay your bills as water. Standpoint, sanitary standpoint, from a health standpoint, in countries like ours, it's difficult for a private
So they didn't ask you all that, no? They don't ask you that.
sector entity to own a water company. A national water company may own a bottling company, but not pipe one, because the government will have to sustain a significant portion of that investment that is not passed on to the consumer. So even in Dominica now, we are subsidizing water because water is a public good. Now the question is, how long can you continue?
Are we subsidizing water? And they are definitely subsidizing water. Don't ask who. In a place that flows with free rivers. Free, F-R-E-E, rivers. Yes, they take things here and there to transport to the people and whatnot. But I don't think we should be paying per meter, brothers and sisters, on something that is free. I think we should be paying one fee. You know, you bring the pipes, the pipes might get old or whatever. Hopefully a pipe can last for 20 years. The pipe might cost $100,000. And, people contributing about $50 a month for water. For 10, 20 years, if the pipe lasts 20 years, you should have made back that money by 3 or 4 times. So, why are we paying for water in the way that we're paying right now for the government to say they're subsidizing? Water is free.
Continue to subsidize water. Should people not be paying a little more? And we have indicated that before. We have not implemented it because we're still fighting with OASCO what the rate should be, because we have to make sure that whatever increase you give to the OASCO, that is not for them to spend or to buy new things and other things at the expense of the consumers.
What are they going to buy? Vehicles?
So, but we have to find an important balance. So in respect to LIAT and so on, whatever outfits we prepare to support and invest, because it is so crucial for economies, for us to have planes flying in the skies of the Caribbean.
That's true.
And my personal view, and I think that's the view of many people, because air travel in the Caribbean is a public good, you must have some kind of government involvement.
So they don't ask you nothing you say there. They ask you, how are the Dominican employees who worked with LIAT going to get paid? That's what they ask you. I understand you pitching for LIAT, great. That's wonderful. But answer the question before you pitch now, please.
If you don't have some kind of government involvement, the fares are going to be extremely high. The airlines will not fly into certain destinations at particular times because it may make no economic sense for them to fly in.
Heavenly Symphony, I agree. Filson, Mr. Lex would have scared mumbling. Scared them will never make me come inside there to ask questions. I was there, brothers and sisters. I went there twice. They never make me go inside. Then I meet the lady in the beginning. Where she be? That lady there, I met her. And she said they're going to be reviewing the medias that they want to come through and we will get a message. No message never reached me. You think it's scary crazy to make me come there to ask questions? I mean, these logical questions are there. You think Skerrit mad in his head if Skerrit don't want to debate Lennox Linton? You think Skerrit crazy to make me come in press conference? Hey, you don't see what Skerrit did Emo News, one of the journalists of Emo News, and the thing is, she had a vital point. So even if you're asking points that make sense, he would not want to answer it. He wouldn't.
They will fly where they're making money, and therefore you will find that many islands will suffer because at particular times it makes no sense flying into those countries. In respect to the availability of passports,
the man just didn't answer the question. Eh? Guys, maybe it's me, but Skerrit didn't answer the question, or I missed it. Did he answer the question?
No, because we had placed a period.
Of course, the reporters are free to ask real questions. I spoke to some of the reporters that tend to go there, and one of them told me that they would not look to ask questions that will render them not having the ability to come back there. They will not ask questions that would render them the ability to not come back. So they do not want to lose their slot. This is the problem that we have. So we have journalists doing mediocrity or, inside there. Not to say that they cannot be good journalists, but they want to protect their own interests without actually providing the necessary answers for the people. If you get my drift.
Where you have to transition from the old passports to the new passports. We would have found that people rushed and they used up all the passports which we would have programmed for a longer period of time.
But Papa God, Papa. SKERRIT, not all you that tell people to rush and take passports. I mean, logically, what you're saying there is logical. What you're saying there is actually what would make sense. Do not make people go and buy passports then a year later, or you, because of whatever issues was happening in the Middle East, or you decide, or you need to change the passports quick. You change the passports quick, rapid, to the point where people are not able to get the passports, even to renew their own passports as Dominican citizens. You guys rushed people to take passports, new passports. And they're even saying, okay, you have the remainder of this, let me just give it to you, and then the remainder of this, you'll come in. You'll have to pay for the new one. None of that. People paid for new passports. No, you come in and say, oh, you don't have the ability to buy passports. I'm print passports. SKERRIT, all you are the ones who rush people to take the passports, But what trouble is that for me? You guys are the ones. It's not the citizens that cause this. I think it will only make logical sense, like what Grenada and a number of other countries are doing when they transition to the e-passport. After your 10 years up or your 5 years is up, you'll get the new passport, which makes logical sense. So people won't have to rush to get new passports. If the new people are coming in they from CBI or whatever, getting the new passport, they'll get the new passports. But you make the CBI people get new passports and the Dominicans getting new passports. It must cause a confusion and chaos to be printing passports over and over. Come on.
And you have that. And then the agreement which we had with Canadian banknote came to an end. And we had to go through the process of the renegotiation of the agreement. And the agreement hadn't been signed. It still hasn't been signed, right? We're still waiting for them to get back to us. But outside of...
What do you mean, if it hasn't been signed? It's not you that's signing it now? Who else signed it? Somebody else has signed for Dominica's behalf? Because what I hear in there, it sounds like somebody else signing and then you asking if that person signed. That is what I get in. I could be wrong, brothers and sisters. Help me understand.
Of that agreement, we have been able to procure additional books. What do they call them? They call the passport, we call it books. Only because passport when it's issued. So we call it books. So we have been able to get those books. We ordered how many in total? 10,000 or 50,000? Yeah, 50,000. And so they're unable to give us the full quantity at one time.
Why?
So they're going to be sending to us in tranches.
Increments.
But no, we have some books, and so we're issuing passports. But there was a challenge early this month.
So what about the $4.1 million or 4.4 million Canadian dollars all yours owing them? Was that paid back, or are you gonna address this?
An unfortunate challenge, but I think as the days go by, we're overcoming that challenge.
What do you mean unfortunate challenge? Was that challenge caused by your administration, or was it caused by Canada? Who exactly was the unfortunate done?
And I'm hoping that very soon that we can sign. On our end, we have cleared all of the points in the agreement. We're now waiting on them to clear the points.
So you paid them? You've paid them the monies that apparently they are alleged to have not been paid?
I think we're making good progress from their end, and I'm hoping that in the next few days we can sign this agreement, and then this issue we have will be an issue of the past. Well, we owe them, but that was not the proof.
That is what you call journalistic, brothers and sisters. Did you owe? And then SKERRIT say, well, we owe. You see, he didn't want to say it. He didn't want to say it. Bring it back.
The prevailing. Well, we owe them, but that was not the prevailing issue.
But they stopped producing because all he didn't give them their monies.
The prevailing issue was that obviously the guys want to secure the next contract for the next years.
Obviously, they want to secure the next contract because for them to secure the next contract, they have to actually close out on the existing contract. And has the obligations been met? If you're owing them, my goodness, on a contract, Do you think I'm gonna sign another contract and you owing me on the previous contract? Make it make sense.
We hadn't done that. And if you owing them, that was compounded and so on. So
So interest on what you owe them.
so we have been able to address this thing
Why is he smiling though on that? That's not good.
and separate the issues. You understand? Separate it, because there are two components to the agreement. One, the provision of the books,
Yeah.
and secondly, the border security
Aspect.
machines where you have to read the passports. And so the first contract agreement we had with them, this way together. What we said to them, look, separate the two. So we
Separate it does not mean you have to give them more money. Because if they're doing one thing and now they have to do two things, wouldn't that be more money that you have to give them?
we make a requisition for books, we pay you. That is separate from the equipment.
Or maybe the money is separated as well. So maybe, okay, I see what he's saying. If you have to put the barcode, let's say it's a barcode on a book, and the barcode costs $50, the book costs $50. If you put them together, you have to pay $100 for the book. If we separate them, print the books, if we are able to buy the books now, you know, and we can put the names and everything like that, we pay half, so we get the books, and then when we are able to afford the other, we'll get to put the barcodes in it. So economically speaking, it makes sense.
Consideration, because there are other details regards to the issues relating to the software and the hardware that they provide to us and so forth. So that,
But the whole thing is talking about their brothers and sisters is about money. That's why he's talking about separating. That's what I understand. Do you guys understand differently? Let me know. Let me know, brothers and sisters.
we do not complicate things as they were, and that we have a simplified approach towards dealing with the passports going forward. I think they have come to accept this and understand that that may be the better way to go, and so I think we're well on our way to overcoming whatever challenges existed.
The challenge that exists is that you owe them. You cannot escape that.
Today.
Minister SKERRIT, good afternoon to you. Curtis Matthew from DBS Radio. My first question is on electoral reform. You, Prime Minister SKERRIT, promised electoral reform for the first quarter of 2024. Can we see these electoral reform bills go to Parliament this year? That would be my first question. The other question would be on citizenship by investment program. Can you bring us up to date on revenue? How much
Yes.
Dominica would have earned over the last year as far as the CBI program is concerned?
I am sure he's not going to answer that one.
And as a sportsman, let me just ask one or two questions in sports. Lighting for the Windsor Park Stadium, where is that matter at the moment?
I like that.
And can you bring us up to date on
Thank you. At least, yes. Thank you. What's his name? This individual right there.
plans for synthetic track in the Portsmouth area?
Curtis
I'm
Matthew.
very sure I'll have a chance to come back a second round.
Yeah, in respect to electoral reform, the Attorney General, along with a team, have gone through the proposal submitted by Sir Dennis Byron in a very scrupulous manner, and also looked at all of the comments and suggestions which came out of the very expansive and engaging national consultation. And in addition to that, taking into consideration the observations and comments we've received thus far from the international observers. And so the Attorney General has gone through this, and there are recommendations on what we believe should go to Parliament.
What do you mean what we believe? What we or what the people believe should go to Parliament? Because the way I heard SKERRIT talking the other day is like, yes, the electoral reform is to his benefit, not to the people.
For consideration. I believe that all things considered, by the second week of April, we will present to the public by publication of the recommendations on the government website and making it available to all and sundry, so that they can be aware of what we're proposing to take to the Parliament.
What do you mean, what aware? Aware? It's not aware. The people have to decide, okay, no or yes. Not aware. They have to go through it. You just want to present what you guys want and then put it to the people so they are aware of what's going on and then pass it in parliament. Not so, sir.
Respect to electoral reform, following which, as is required by law, we will submit that to the Electoral Commission. And then once we...
So what if the people reject it now? If they reject it, then that means you have to go back to the drawing board, sir. But it seems like you guys have your minds made up already.
Receive word from the Electoral Commission, we will go to Parliament to pass the legislation and to give the Electoral Commission the legal authority now by Parliament to proceed with implementing the electoral reform measures. In addition to that, we will ensure that the necessary budgetary allocations will be made in this upcoming budget to allow for the Electoral Commission to have the resources to implement the electoral reform measures. So I am satisfied that we will go to Parliament before the end of the financial year and before we present the 2024-2025 budget to the country.
But how can you be so sure that... I just asked that question a while ago. You making it seem like it's set in stone. You just have to present it to the people and then boom, let it pass through Parliament. That should not be at all, sir.
It's important that we move ahead with it. My hope and prayer is that those persons who say they want electoral reform and that they are genuinely interested in electoral reform will understand we have to go. We have to move and move with implementing those things. There are other issues that in the Sir Dennis Barron report, which and some of which came out of the consultation, which have implications for the Constitution, insofar as
Are you sure you're talking about the overseas voters? Are you sure it's that he's talking about?
Constitutional amendments. Our view is that we can achieve our objectives based on what the citizens of Dominica are saying, where electoral reform is concerned, without having to interfere with the Constitution. And if we are to interfere with the Constitution at this stage, then there'll be a prolonged process because
But doesn't the Constitution tell you not to do bribery and cheating? I'm just saying.
There are provisions in the Constitution which require you to go for a referendum for me. And do we need any referendum, any constitutional reform to effect the national ID cards and to do the reconfirmation or the confirmation of voters in the voters list and to allow political parties of access to DBS radio during the election campaign. So so I think that there are five, six main points that we can advance that I believe that if we're all genuinely interested in the electoral reform, that we can achieve our objectives and address the concerns that Dominicans would have raised over time. And so that's the timeline we're looking at by the second week of April to make it available, what we're proposing, the draft legislation and so forth, because even in the Sir Dennis Barron report, some of the things that he recommended and he later, recognize that
Rayon asked me, my question is, why weren't you in the room to ask questions to the PM? I have tried to be in the room. I have met up with people like this lady right there to tell her that I'm interested in, being part of this thing. And they literally just refuse to make me come in. Do you think they're going to make people like me and Lofty come inside there? Really? Rayon, you honestly believe that they're going to make me and people like Lofty come inside there? Really? That doesn't make sense to me. It wouldn't make sense to them either.
Some of the provisions would be in violation of the Constitution. So I must commend.
Yes, he wants a specific set of media that wouldn't really challenge him, or they would try their best so that they wouldn't be on his bad graces. So yeah, I don't have no face. I don't care who you be. King, queen, jester, I don't care who you are. If you're saying something, I will ask you a question. I'm a journalist. I would ask you a question on the things that you're saying to challenge exactly what you're saying. Because if you know everything that you're saying is spot on, then you should be able to answer it without any issues.
Team members who went through this in a very, very detailed manner for the exceptional work that they have done in combing through. Because there's one thing to say we're in electoral reform, but there's another thing to be disciplined and to ensure that the legislation is accurate and it satisfies the concerns of the people, etc., etc., etc. But rest assured in this country that Roosevelt SKERRIT as Prime Minister absolutely want electoral reform.
That's not true. How are you saying rest assured? When electoral reform has been done to the point where Dennis Barron gave his thing and then you received the letter a whole month after. That was after elections was called. That's what you tell people.
Absolutely want it to be dealt with once and for all, and I absolutely want it to go before the budget address of 2024, and to get this out of the way, and let us focus on equally important things that are affecting the people of Dominica.
That is the main important thing without affecting the people. So I think we need to take our time and comb through it, you know.
And so my open prayer is that those who want it, you say you want it. When it's being given to you, please. But I want to say to the people of Dominica that nothing is going to stop me to bring about electoral reform in Dominica.
The way you want.
Nothing. I'm going with it. I'm going to go with it full blast. Full blast. So when you post it, read it. If you have comments, tell us comments. But nobody's going to stop us from going to Parliament.
What about readjusting based on the comments? I myself looking forward to see that way.
To pass legislation. This foolishness has to stop. This game playing has to stop in the country. And
You not playing game with, sir. You alone not playing games. It's kind of like doing something, you stealing, and then you tell the other person, what you stealing for? But you stealing. And once again, if you stealing, the other person not stealing, but you blaming the other person for stealing, and you are the one that's stealing.
I will not tolerate it where electoral reform is concerned. Okay? And so we'll be the judge of those who say they want it.
Jules, they will put me outside the building. I know for sure they will put me outside the building.
Those who say that, those who pretend that they want it and do not want it. Though I suspect that some who say they want it don't want it, but that's a matter for them. In respect to CBI funds for this year, well, obviously, I can only give you on financial year. Our financial year ends on June 30th. So we'll have to wait for the accounts to be prepared for this.
We was waiting for the accounts for that you say was going to embarrass Lennox Linton since 2019. Eh? Why should we trust you now, given the accounting? Why?
Financial year, which will end on June 30th. But I'm being advised by the Financial Secretary that for the last financial year, the revenues were $625,338,941.
How many passports were sold? That's a question I would have asked. Please ask that question.
From the CBI funds. From the CBI.
How many passports was somebody please stand up and ask, okay, how many passports were sold? Wait. Oh, something happened there, Papa.
Still hasn't been signed, right? We're still waiting for them to get back to us.
Can we see this electoral reform?
We can achieve our objectives based on what the citizens of Dominica are saying, where electoral reform is concerned, without having to interfere with the Constitution. And in the
Guys, let's go again.
In combing for, because there's one thing to say we're electoral reform in Dominica and do not want it. The costs, including the payment of national debt. So that's where we are. Lighting of the Windsor Park, as you know, well, the last I got from the Ministry of Sports is that we continue to engage the supplier of the lighting system.
Did you engage the contractor? Somebody ask that question, please. Somebody.
So I'm hoping that we can get a conclusion on this, and that the Ministry of Sports can advise the cabinet on the contractual amounts and engagement, so that we can implement the.
You mean to tell me nobody asking about the contractor that stood up? So what has happened with the contractor that spoke about the situation with the lights? What has happened? Is he still on the job? Come on, people!
The lights at the stadium was so crucial for us hosting, especially night games and so on, night matches. So we're still committed to this, and we'll have more time as opposed to the shorter period of time which we would have had if we had to host the World Cup. So we have more time.
We got it though. We got it, and then you lost it for us because the lights would have been up since the contractor who was on the lights stated that the lights would have been up since June of 2023. And he's not sure what on earth has happened. When Matt asked him, who would be able to answer that question? Matt had ever asked him that question. Who would be able to answer that question? Is it the government? The contractor said yes. So did Matt ask the Prime Minister about this?
To implement this aspect of it and so on. So we committed to this. The synthetic track, I believe that we engage in the Athletic Association and the DOC. We've been both very helpful. I want to commend Mr. Williams of the AAA and also Mr. Doctor of the DOC, working very closely for us. they have gotten commitment for some funding. I think it's a matter for us now to finalize the land issues in Portsmouth and the other surrounding issues, and to advance it. I think if I want to be transparent, I think on our end, I think we were complicating the thing a little bit too much, if you ask me. Sometimes we want too much at one time, rather than let us do the track and let us do some more shows, and then we'll take it there.
But if all you did the indoor gymnasium where this President Stadium is, we'd have a track, we'd have tennis court, we'd have all kind of things right there. And instead you guys just built something for cricket and football. So that's money that we've wasted right there.
You know, people want to add too many things, and then the cost increases, and then the cost frightens you, and then you hold back and so on. So I think we need to take this thing something step by step. Obviously with a comprehensive plan, but going on a phase basis and so forth. So I'm hoping that the Ministry of Sports can continue to work more diligently in advancing those other issues.
Into CARICOM's current approach into addressing the situation. What role does Dominica play in these efforts? And the second part to this question is, we also heard that there will be a Kenyan-led force deployed to Haiti soon. How soon do you expect this force to be on island?
Yeah. Thank you very much. Very good question. No, the issue, I mean, the situation is very serious, very, very serious, and I believe that the international community has not placed the kind of seriousness and attention on Haiti that it has placed in other parts of the world.
Are you sure about that, sir? Are you sure? Isn't Haiti's plight at present, well, previously before the present, wasn't it France? Haiti paid off its debts, and when Haiti paid off its debts, who took over? Who's causing all this chaos to the point where presidents or prime ministers, whoever, have to be taken out or prevented from flying back in because they apparently are agent for some first world country? Who I think we want to pretend as if certain things are not going on, and then we're looking for the international community to help, when there's a huge possibility that the international community is the one responsible for why Haiti is the way it is today. Don't get me wrong, you know, because somebody asked me that question today. I believe that there are also issues within the country, for sure. But there's cause and effect on both sides. So if the international community is causing a particular outcome, and the people within Haiti are causing a particular outcome, using the international community to correct the international community and what it's doing is Haiti is not a very wise idea. This is why the Haitian people are rising up against the system. And we are back to square one again, just like back in the day. So
it's a war between Russia and Ukraine. You know, we've poured in billions of dollars into Ukraine, and it's fine.
Who caused the war between Russia and Ukraine? Who was the instigator? It's interesting to us when you know the backdrop and the why factor, brothers and sisters. This is why I always tell individuals, yes, it is great that people talk about certain things, but people tend to look at things from a surface level. They don't look for things for the underneath. The why factor. Why did this happen? What caused this to happen? We're always looking at the surface level. We have to go deeper, brothers and sisters. Just like we look at Dominic and the economy, we see people building houses, we think that is nice. What caused that to happen? Why? The economy has been destroyed. Where people now staying at their parents' home. For 30, 40, 50 years, they're at their parents' home because the economy cannot help them. And if they were to get married or whatever, they're bringing their children in their mother's house. Guys, I stay too long on this, man. Let me just continue for a little bit. Brothers and sisters, hey, what's going on then? Guys, please click the thumbs up button right now for me, please. We have 200 and something of you guys and 56 likes. Really? Guys, come on. Click the thumbs up button for me, man. Click the thumbs up button. We need that thumbs up button to go up. The concurrent view is 201. We need at least 100 likes in there, man. What we doing now, guys? What we doing? That's not proper English, but what are we doing, guys? Click the thumbs up button. I would appreciate that right there. Yes, click the thumbs up button. Let the thumbs up button, you know, show its face. Let me just continue up till 45 and then
They need it. We're not grudging them, but Haiti needs help.
does
Haiti needs help, and there are some who have promised the help, but the help is not forthcoming.
like the Bill
Now,
Clinton Foundation.
I understand that there's a
That's one of the questions that I tend to ask because billions of dollars were raised as a result of the earthquake under the Clinton Foundation, and where has that money gone? From previous documents that I saw, only 6 houses were built out of the billions upon billions of dollars that was sent to the Clinton Foundation. So, who to help?
and complications in Haiti with regards to the gangs and the violence and the government institution function and so forth. But where there's a will, there's a way.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe that there's not really a deep-seated will. And therefore we have been unable to find a more direct path towards assisting Haiti with its challenges. Now, as we all know, Haiti has had many.
Well, Dominica tried. I guess Dominica tried its best to allow Haitians to come in. But when the Haitians come in and they were told that Dominica is Little Miami and they would have gotten jobs and so forth. And when they came, they couldn't get it, to the point where the Haitians were protesting. Haitians from overseas come Dominica and protesting that they did not get any jobs that they were promised. So, I mean, Dominica tries its best, but when Haitians themselves see what happened in Dominica and want to run from Dominica, I don't think Dominica can help at all. Butterskin Shelly, big up yourself one time, man.
A long history of intervention in Haiti and other countries managing the affairs of Haiti and so forth. So there's this historical issue that affects other countries' intentions to help Haiti in the manner in which they should be helping Haiti. So we have to be fair to them as well, the international community as well. From the CARICOM standpoint, what we have sought to do is to seek to lead the way in working with the Haitian people, in putting them together or getting them to understand that they need to define a Haitian-led solution to Haiti's situation. So what we've been doing is...
But they've been saying it. Have you not been paying attention? They've been saying it. They say that they want to rule themselves. They don't want to be governed by overseas authority. They have been saying this from time to time, to the point where they know that certain representatives that apparently just come up into the ranks have been representatives of other countries and not of the Haitian people. How are they plummeting Haiti to this point, boy?
Provide the logistical support, the guidance, the encouragement of all of the actors in Haiti. And we've met with all of the actors in Haiti, political parties, church leaders, the business community, civil society, former prime ministers, former presidents, former ministers.
Guys, I hate to hear nonsense, you know. Brothers and sisters, when you see you're not informed, what SKERRIT say makes a lot of sense. But when you see informed, it doesn't make much sense. It doesn't. Nobody is here to ask SKERRIT, okay, what caused this situation to happen? But then again, I mean, it's SKERRIT we're talking to, because, I mean, when he was in Trinidad and they asked him certain questions that he should have known about, or at least heard here in the grapevine, he said he doesn't believe that it happened. So we asking SKERRIT about other countries. I don't think it makes sense, because what SKERRIT they're saying, it doesn't make much sense to the actual reality of what is taking place in Haiti. He's talking about the international community. Isn't the international community responsible for why Haiti is there? What? Brothers and sisters, what are your thoughts, man? What are your thoughts on the whole situation right there, man? I think I'm gonna end the reaction right there, because yeah, that let me see if I can get another question inside there, because I do find what SKERRIT saying making much sense. Is there any more question?
But I believe that there was a meeting of the UN Security Council today, but we don't want more speeches.
with the Minister of National Security, he expressed chief situation, since you will be the one giving us the update on that. It's supposed to be coming up in the next few days. What's the latest? In an interview with the Minister of National Security, he expressed
you look the bullet partner. Yeah, this same shit. Oh no, I think it's a blue shit. Yeah, he's shopping in the same type of shits, man.
in fact, he stated that he's very confident in the work that the present acting chief did or is doing at this point in time. So I suspect that would be a green light to continue. Also, DBS Radio has been without a board. I asked that question some time ago. Mr. Miller.
We don't care about DBS Radio.
Things.
Let me see if
But
there's
obviously,
some
we
other
would
question
agree
there.
them on those things. And so it's a
Well,
matter
not
of
that we do
finding
care about DBS Radio, no, brothers and sisters. We just, DBS is just,
Of his duties just around 9 years ago. My information is that Vescott Jones is still unemployed and waiting for a settlement in that matter. Can you bring us up to date based on the information you have? What is the latest to do with
I like
Vescott
that.
Jones? And why don't Vescott Jones?
Big up Curtis Matthew, eh? Big up Curtis Matthew. Curtis Matthew, I giving you props. Asking some relevant questions, not pertaining to the general public in that question, but it's necessary right there because there was a whole fiasco in that regard.
I also want to ask about the stevedores at the Dominica Air and Seaport Authority. That impasse that took place well over 22 years ago. That story has been around for the last 22 years. What is, you have intervened, by the way, Prime Minister SKERRIT, you have intervened in that matter to bring a sort of settlement to the Dominica Air and Seaport Authority and the stevedores and longshoremen. What is the very latest as far as you're concerned? Thank you very much.
Well, the Vescott Jones matter, as I understand, is before tribunal. And so I will leave it at that. I did, in fact, meet with Mr. Jones sometime last year with an effort for me to seek to intervene again.
Intervene. Intervene.
But I think that's one of the things that he was demanding. I was not in a position to carry those messages. And so that's the matter will remain with the tribunal to determine what is the outcome of this situation.
Not kill all you kill in time now. Anyways, brothers and sisters, I think I'm going to stop it right there. Like I said before, click the thumbs up button. I would appreciate that right there, guys. Your boy tired. Plus, karaoke tonight with yes, guys. Anyways, hopefully you guys enjoyed the vibrations or understand. I know sometimes it can be a little bit frustrating to listen to the Prime Minister speak. Jerry Nelson, Curtis eyes opening now. Well, I think he's asking a little more relevant questions that need to be asked. Maybe he presented the questions to SKERRIT before, and SKERRIT knew to answer them. That's a possibility too. So, but by the way, where did the girl who asked him about the building, is she not there anymore? Because I'm only seeing Curtis and Carlisle asking questions. There are more journalists inside there, and that other lady, I forget her name. She was in the prison, and the guy was, doing something behind her. What is her name now? Anyways, I can't remember her name, brothers and sisters. But big up the individuals that ask questions right there, guys. I think I'm gonna end it right now. I appreciate you guys for definitely tuning in, and of course, you guys went crazy on the live chats. SKERRIT, God will judge you. Curtis, the UN is farce. It's America dominated. But in the Tower of Babel, they must have suspended her from press. Kiwana, yes, Kiwana, yes. How could I? Man, that's crazy. Yes, Kiwana, that is the name. Kiwana Fountain. I wonder if she related to Thompson. Anyways, guys, give this video a thumbs up. I would appreciate that. Thanks so much for tuning into another Vibrations. Tomorrow I might do another live. We will see how that goes. This one is gonna be with Thompson Fountain and a number of others. I think that what they say makes a lot of sense. Don't get me wrong, some of what SKERRIT said made sense, especially in the dividing of the fees, I guess. But it's like you'll be able to get a passport, but you wouldn't be able to use it. But on the monetary point of view, it kind of makes sense right there. Half and half, we can pay this now, give us the stuff, we can put this stuff in, and then later on we can put, the barcodes or the chip or whatever in, if that is what they tend to do, the ability for it to read the passports. Anyways, guys, give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, and turn on that post notification, brothers and sisters, if you have not done so. Brothers and sisters, subscribe to grow the channel. right there and then, and of course to be notified when I drop my videos right there and then. It is by Mr. Licks once again, guys. I'll see you guys in the next reaction video. Be real.